Okay. Um, for a long time, I had no clue what I was doing, being handy, and so I wanted to start being handy and figuring out how I was going to do things. And I use YouTube a lot to accomplish that. And so, what I am going to do today is give back, and I am going to put some lights, some LED stick strip lights into my wife's closet here. For about 10 years, she has complained about how dark it is. You see back in those recesses and nooks and crannies, it is pretty dark. So we are going to do that. I went and got, see here, this little set from Home Depot. It was about 70 bucks. And I was intimidated by it, but I watched some videos this morning, and so basically all it is you have your switch here, power supply, and then these lights. This marries up to that there, and here are our lights. I need to start by cleaning the surface, so I'm going to use just paper towel and some normal home cleaner. I'm going to do the surface there, and then we're going to install it. Okay, cleaned in here. What I did was I went around these edges here. That's where I'm going to put the strip. So clean that. Now I'm going to look at this power supply. We're lucky that on the other side of this closet we have a power supply, and I think we have a power strip back here too. If I'm going to put one back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this power from right here along here and into right under here. I'm going to lift up the carpet and get it under there so that it's not visible. So I'm going to figure out this power where I'm going to actually plug it in, and I'm going to run it back here so we can have a starting point for where we're going to put that strip. I did have a power strip there, so all I am doing now is lifting this up. You can see the tack board there and the carpet, and I'm going to plug it in there and just going to run it back here. I'm going to turn this little corner right here, try to get it all underneath this carpet so you can't see it. So you just don't have this switch running or this wire just running in your closet randomly. And I think one of the things that always would hold me back with something like this is fear of messing something up, like pulling this up or whatever. But I've kind of come to learn that just you can't really mess something up too bad, and I think you can fix things pretty easily. So I am going to do this, and then we will start the installation on the inside. All right, so I've turned that corner here, and this isn't as easy because they cut it to fit around this little. So I think what I am gonna do is pull these layers out and push back, kind of stay a little bit in front of, and then just stick it down in there, and then get this little part too. The more stuff you have on the carpet, I've already moved a couple things, the harder this is because you don't have that the ability to pull it out. So gotta pull some things out there, and then I'm almost there back here, so I just need to tuck this back in. I need to get the wire away from the stripping, that tack stripping with the nails in there. Get this resituated, and then I will be ready to get the installation. But I want to get this wire set where it needs to be first before we move on any further. A lot of times I just want to get to the main event, which is tacking this thing up. But I've learned that I need to get the rest of it right. The stuff that's not the fun part, or the part that I'm really excited about doing. So what I had to do here is take this this flathead screwdriver and kind of work that back in underneath. There was actually a little area right here between the tacking and the wall, where the enough area for me to actually run my wire for my power supply back in through there. But when we turned the corner, ran out of that, so I had to put it on the other side. So I have to get the screwdriver into here too. Put that over there, and then push this back down, back into here. You see there, it wants to go back in. Over here, not so much though, because this wire is still crossing over where the tack is. So I need to push it back just a little bit further here, and we can get everything back in down there. Till I move some other stuff out of here. When I was trying to do some things in here, I had an avalanche of old clothes and shoe boxes. We're not exactly as organized as we could be, but now I feel like this wire, I need to work on this a little bit more right here. And then I'm going to be ready to start tacking this up. All right, so it's in, and now what we're going to do is just start this process here. I'm just planning on taking it and working the backing off as we go along. I don't think it's going to be a real hard thing to do. This house was built in 1954. It has a bulb up here, but it has never worked. The thing won't even come out. I am all about taking on new projects, but with something like that, with electricity, kind of scares me. So I had this idea this morning, and you can tell here, it gives you plenty of length here, and then you've got your light with your stripping. So I'm just going to put this by the power supply. I'm not going to plug it in yet, and I'm just going to take this and slowly work it around the inside frame of that closet. And then it gives you specific places to cut it. So before I get there, and you can see right here these two like rose gold little markers and the scissors. So I'm going to take it around, and then we'll cut it, plug everything in, and see how we did. All right, here we are. Started over here. I don't know if you can see it, it's too dark. We'll be able to see it later. Came up here. So here I am right here now, and like I'd hoped, it's pretty easy. It's a lot harder to do it, but I'm just pushing it along here, and the stripping just rolls right off. It's a good tacky, sticky sort of thing right up there. I came away from the lip a little bit. Just don't want it to sit down in there too much and not have any light at all. Kind of defeat the purpose of what we're trying to do. It's a little closer to the lip down here. So going around the corner was a little tricky. You know, it doesn't have to be too exact. I know it's a little bumpy right there, but we made the corner, and so that's where we are. I'm gonna finish that up. We'll cut it. This corner was a little harder. I think because we have the tension of everything, it's already come to here, so when we tried to turn the corner. And also, something I didn't think about is we're working against this being all spooled up in here. So as I came down the opposite wall, it started wanting to fight me. So I just needed to take my thumb and really push it as we went. Now I need to find our cutoff down here. Pull it to everyone. On this particular strip, it's every 6 inches. Come back up a little bit and see if we're close. There it is right there. So instead of having some extra, I'm just going to cut it off. I mean, it's almost perfect right there. If you don't cut it off at the right spot, you break a circuit and you can lose some lights. So that's where we're going to cut it off. I'm just going to use some normal scissors here. And just cut it off right there. And then we'll plug it in and see what happens. All right, cut it off. This is what we have left. They do have some guides in there and some leads to be able to give yourself another power source. So I'm just gonna spool this back in and keep this, take off the backing, keep this, and try to figure out what I'm going to do with those leads, and have a little bit of this left. This was 24 feet. This is how much I needed. A couple feet left, or maybe a foot or two. So that's what we're left with. All right, so the reason I picked this one is because the power source was so easy. There's a lot where you buy the power source separately, and I am sure that those are cheaper. I'm just not ready to take that on at this point. So all we have to do is put these two together right here. All right, I had a brief delay. I had to go across the street. My neighbor's washing machine was overflowing, and that's on the second story, so I wasn't real happy. So this thing, you just put the two ends together, and it has this cover that screws down in there. So tuck that back in. I'm just gonna let the power supply live right there. Tuck the rest of these wires back in here, just kind of out of the way. Once I put everything back in, I'm sure there's not going to be much room for them at all. So we're going to go back over here, and we're going to plug it in. There's all the stuff that avalanched on me earlier. Plug this into our power strip here. It's one of those safety ones there. All right, so got this out. Had one of those little things in that protects the battery. Pulled it out. There you can see if you were going to run that line. I put it underneath the carpet there, but if you're going to run that line, it gives you the brads and the screws, which is nice, especially for somebody like me who is not adept at figuring stuff out like that on my own. I don't know if I need to connect this or not. I haven't read any instructions at all. Obviously, I do. Okay, so I hadn't gotten this aligned correctly. This, where it marries, it's got like a little notch at the top and on both sides, so that helped it a lot when I actually did it correctly. And now you can see those lights. I'm going to turn off the rest of the light in this room, and I think it's made a pretty significant difference here. If you look around there, see it, and then over here in these edges where it was really dark, now I've got some light. It's got a dimmer and a brighter switch. So let's see if we can. I don't think that goes anymore. All right, so I gotta get this remote linked up, but for right now it's on, and I need to figure out how to get this remote married to that down there. And here we go. We got it all lit up there. They can dim. You just gotta get kind of close. That's what it was. You just gotta get closer. Here's where those lights are all the way dimmed. There. Now we're going to brighten them up again. There we go. And then push it down there. There it is off. It's not the best demonstration right now because we're getting some daylight in back there. But I promise, she's been yelling at me for years about these corners back in here where she can't see anything. So if you look back in there, we're going to turn it on. And there we go. Huge difference. This took me less than an hour, and I have no clue what I'm doing with any of this stuff. That's the reason I'm doing this video, to give back to folks, because if I'm going to be watching these videos to learn how to do things, I wanted to do them too. Alright, this is my project today, Ashley's closet. There we go. I LED light strip the whole inside. And we got a little remote control. There we go. So that's it. A little installation there of these LED lights to brighten my wife's closet. I'm going to put the closet back together, and then we're going to move on to the next project.